All right, so you're interested in traditional Chinese medicine.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically, what a career as a TCM therapist actually looks like.
Okay.
We're taking a deep dive into this fascinating world, exploring everything from those ancient principles to what a typical day might look like.
It's a field that's really gaining traction as more and more people are seeking those holistic health solutions, and we're going to unpack all of that,
Okay.
drawing insights from these RoleCatcher guides that you've gathered.
Perfect. Now, when I think TCM, I think herbal remedies, acupuncture.
Right.
But there's got to be more to it than meets the eye, right?
Absolutely. It's much more intricate than simply brewing a cup of tea.
Right.
A TCM therapist really delves into the individual,
Okay.
considering their lifestyle, their environment, their overall well-being, to address the root cause of their concerns.
Okay, so it's not just about treating the symptoms, it's about understanding the whole person.
Precisely, and to do that effectively.
Okay.
TCM therapists draw upon a wealth of knowledge, anatomy, physiology, even the philosophical underpinnings of this ancient practice.
Wow, so you're drawing on thousands of years of history
Yeah,
while working in a modern healthcare setting.
exactly.
That's pretty incredible.
Mhm.
Speaking of which,
Yeah.
where do TCM therapists typically practice?
You'll find them in a variety of settings.
Okay.
Some work independently, creating those serene, spa-like environments you might envision.
Right.
Others become part of a group practice or find themselves working in hospitals, clinics, or wellness centers.
Okay, so it seems like there's a good amount of variety
There is.
when it comes to building a career in TCM.
Yeah.
But before we dive into all of that, let's talk about the actual work involved.
Okay.
What are some of the techniques that TCM therapists might use?
Well, acupuncture is probably the most well-known.
Right.
It involves the insertion of very fine needles into specific points along the body's meridians.
Meridians.
Yes.
Could you elaborate on those a bit?
Of course. So in TCM, meridians are considered pathways of energy flow
Okay.
throughout the body. They connect our organs and tissues, ensuring this harmonious flow of what we call qi, or vital energy.
So by stimulating these meridian points
Yeah.
with acupuncture needles,
Mm-hmm.
you're aiming to restore balance
Yes.
and promote healing.
Exactly. And it's not just about needles.
Okay.
TCM therapists might also use techniques like cupping,
Okay.
placing these heated glass cups on the skin to create suction or moxibustion.
Okay, moxibustion sounds kind of intense.
It does sound a bit dramatic, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It involves burning dried mugwort,
Okay.
which is a very powerful herb near specific acupuncture, points to warm and invigorate the flow of qi in the body.
Okay.
So imagine, for instance, someone experiencing chronic pain due to a stagnation of energy.
Mhm.
Moxibustion can be incredibly effective in providing relief by stimulating circulation and warmth to the affected area.
That makes sense. It's fascinating how TCM intertwines all these different elements.
Right.
Needles, herbs, heat,
It's
to
true.
restore balance.
It's a truly holistic system. And of course, herbal medicine is another cornerstone of TCM.
Right.
Therapists create these personalized formulas
Okay.
based on the individual's needs, drawing from this vast pharmacopoeia of plants and minerals and other natural substances.
So it's a lot like being a detective in a way,
Yeah.
piecing together the individual story and then creating a tailored solution.
I like that analogy.
Yeah.
It highlights the level of personalization and deep understanding
Right.
that goes into TCM treatment.
This is all so interesting, but I have to admit, it also sounds like a lot to learn.
Yeah,
Where does one even begin their journey to becoming a TCM therapist?
you're right. It's a comprehensive field,
Yeah.
but incredibly rewarding.
Okay.
A solid educational foundation is key.
Okay.
Aspiring therapists typically pursue a degree in traditional Chinese medicine,
Okay.
often a master's level program.
That makes sense, and I imagine these programs delve deep into both the theory
They do.
and practical application of TCM.
Absolutely. Students dive into subjects like herbal medicine, acupuncture tuina,
Right. Okay.
which is Chinese therapeutic massage, and Qigong,
Wow.
which are energy cultivation exercises.
So you're not just learning about herbs and needles.
Right.
You're really immersing yourself in the entire world of TCM.
Yeah. These programs are designed to equip aspiring therapists with a well-rounded understanding of the body's energetic systems, diagnostic techniques, and just various treatment modalities.
It sounds incredibly thorough,
It is.
but I'm curious, once you have that educational foundation,
Yeah.
What are some practical steps someone can take to actually break into the field?
Okay.
These RoleCatcher guides you mentioned seem like a good place to start.
You're right. These guides are quite helpful,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to navigating those practical aspects of building a career. One of their top recommendations, and something I wholeheartedly endorse, is gaining that hands-on experience.
So we're talking internships,
Yes,
volunteering, shadowing experienced practitioners.
precisely. There's no substitute for real-world experience.
Right.
It allows you to apply those theoretical concepts you've learned, refine your skills, and develop your own unique approach to treatment.
Right.
Plus, it's a fantastic way to connect with other practitioners
Yeah.
and build your network.
Networking, that's got to be crucial in any field,
It is.
but especially one as specialized as TCM.
Absolutely. Building relationships with other practitioners, attending conferences, joining professional associations like the World Federation of Chinese Medicine Societies
Okay.
or WFCMS.
WFCMS.
Those are all valuable steps.
So it's about becoming part of that global community of healers
Yes.
and continuing to learn from one another.
Exactly. And the RoleCatcher guides do a good job of outlining these professional organizations
Okay.
and their significance in a TCM therapist's journey.
Okay.
They also provide really valuable insights into crafting a standout resume and even offer some AI-powered tools to help you tailor your application to specific job descriptions.
Okay, now that sounds incredibly helpful, especially in a competitive job market.
It-
So it's not just about having that knowledge and those skills.
Right.
It's about knowing how to showcase them effectively.
Precisely. And speaking of showcasing your expertise,
Okay.
the guides also highlight the importance of building a portfolio.
A portfolio. Now that's interesting.
Yeah.
Tell me more about that.
It's a way to go beyond that traditional resume and really demonstrate your passion and your knowledge.
Okay.
Think about writing articles about TCM, perhaps, for online publications, or leading workshops on specific topics like acupressure or dietary therapy.
So it's a way to not only share your knowledge, but
Yeah.
also to solidify your expertise.
Yes.
And build your reputation.
Exactly.
It shows you're actively engaged in the field
Yeah.
and passionate about educating others.
Exactly. And those are invaluable qualities when it comes to building a successful career as a TCM therapist.
This has been incredibly insightful. We've covered so much ground already.
We have.
From the fundamental principles of TCM to
Mhm.
those essential first steps in building a career. Now, I'm curious to dig a little deeper into what a typical day looks like for a TCM therapist.
Okay.
I imagine it varies quite a bit depending on experience level.
You're absolutely right. The guides cleverly break down a TCM career into different stages, each with its own unique set of responsibilities and opportunities for growth.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start with someone just entering the field. What does a typical day look like for an entry-level TCM therapist?
Yeah, it's going to look a lot different for someone just starting out versus, say, a seasoned practitioner with their own clinic.
Right, makes sense.
Mm.
So let's paint that picture fresh out of school.
Okay.
Eager to apply all of their knowledge. What's a typical day like for an entry-level TCM therapist?
Well, according to these RoleCatcher guides, they'd likely be assisting a more experienced therapist.
Yeah.
Think of it as an apprenticeship of sorts.
So more hands-on learning, observing those seasoned practitioners in action.
Precisely. It's about mastering those fundamental skills, assisting with patient assessments.
Okay.
Maybe taking detailed notes on their health history, lifestyle, and their concerns.
Okay, so really getting to understand the individual behind the symptoms.
Exactly. And because herbal remedies are often a key part of TCM treatment,
Right.
an entry-level therapist might also help with preparing those personalized formulas.
So measuring out those herbs and tinctures.
Yes,
It sounds like a blend of ancient knowledge and modern precision.
it really is. They might also provide support during treatments like acupuncture or tuina, ensuring the patient is comfortable and the environment is calm and relaxing.
Creating that space for healing and balance.
Exactly. And of course, like any field,
Right.
there's the administrative side of things.
Yeah.
Scheduling appointments, managing records,
Right.
and ensuring the smooth running of the practice.
Okay, so it's all part of that well-rounded experience.
Yes.
Now, as an entry-level therapist gains more experience, they'd eventually step into a more independent role, right?
Absolutely. As they progress to a junior level position,
Okay.
they'll start taking on more responsibility.
So less shadowing, more stepping into the spotlight.
Exactly. They'd be conducting patient assessments independently, using their knowledge to identify those imbalances and create those personalized treatment plans.
That's got to be a rewarding feeling, putting all that training into practice.
Yeah.
And making a real difference in people's lives.
Absolutely. And at this stage, they'd
Yeah.
also be administering a wider range of therapies.
Okay.
Acupuncture, for instance, would likely become a more prominent part of their practice.
Now, we talked earlier about those meridians and energy flow.
Right.
Is that where a deep understanding of those concepts really comes into play?
You're spot on. Acupuncture requires a thorough understanding of those meridian pathways
Okay.
and the location of specific acupoints.
Acupoints, those are like the specific points along
Yes.
the meridians where the needles are inserted.
You got to, each point corresponds to different organs and systems in the body.
Okay.
By stimulating those points with needles, a skilled acupuncturist can address a wide range of conditions, from pain management to reducing stress and anxiety, even alleviating digestive issues.
It's incredible how such a precise practice can have such far-reaching effects on the body.
It really speaks to that interconnectedness that's at the heart of TCM.
Right.
And as therapists progress in their careers,
Yeah.
they continue to refine those skills, incorporating even more advanced techniques.
Okay, so what does that next step up the ladder look like? Tell me about the mid-level PCM therapist.
At this stage, they're becoming more than just a practitioner.
Okay.
They're cultivating a deeper understanding of their patients' needs.
So it's about building those long-term relationships, understanding the individual's health journey over time.
Precisely, they'd be managing a caseload of patients,
Okay.
providing that ongoing care and adjusting treatment plans as needed.
So this is where their assessment skills become even more refined. It's like becoming a health detective,
Yeah.
piecing together all those subtle clues
Mm.
to uncover the root of the imbalance.
A great way to put it, they'd also be incorporating more specialized therapies like cupping,
Okay.
which we talked about earlier, or moxibustion.
Now, moxibustion, that's the one with the burning herbs, right?
Yes.
Just a little curious about that one.
It might sound a little intimidating,
Yeah.
but it's a remarkably safe and effective technique when performed by a trained practitioner.
Okay.
Remember we talked about mugwort?
Yes, powerful herbs.
Right. So during moxibustion, we'd light a stick or cone made of dried mugwort and hold it near specific acupoints.
Okay.
The heat from that burning mugwort gently warms and stimulates those points.
And that helps to invigorate the flow of qi in those areas.
Exactly. It's
Ah, good.
particularly beneficial for conditions related to cold or stagnation, such as arthritis or menstrual cramps.
So it's not just about needles, you're working with heat,
Right.
pressure herbs,
It's true.
to create this multifaceted approach to healing.
That's the beauty of TCM. It's this intricate tapestry of techniques that work synergistically to restore balance. And as a mid-level therapist, you'd be weaving that tapestry with increasing skill and artistry.
It sounds like it requires not only a deep understanding of the practice, but also a real passion for this holistic approach to health and well-being.
You hit the nail on the head, and that passion for learning is essential
Yeah.
as the field of TCM continues to evolve.
Great.
Even at this mid-level stage, therapists are expected to stay abreast of the latest research and advancements.
So attending conferences, reading journals, maybe even participating in some research projects themselves.
Exactly. And as they continue to hone their craft, they might even find themselves mentoring less experienced therapists,
Okay.
sharing their knowledge and helping to shape the next generation of TCM practitioners.
Passing on that legacy of ancient wisdom
Yes,
while also embracing new discoveries.
it's true.
That's really beautiful.
Indeed. And as we move up to the senior level of a TCM therapist's career,
Okay.
we see that mentorship role expanding even further.
All right, let's talk about those seasoned practitioners, the ones who've truly mastered their craft.
Okay.
What sets a senior level TCM therapist apart?
At this stage, they've reached a pinnacle of expertise and leadership within their field. They might oversee an entire clinic or practice,
Yeah.
ensuring those highest standards of care and treatment.
So it's a more managerial role, shaping the direction of the practice itself.
Exactly. They're responsible for setting the vision, mentoring those junior practitioners, and often playing a crucial role in quality improvement initiatives.
Ensuring that everyone on their team is providing the best possible care.
Precisely. And because of their extensive experience, senior-level therapists are often sought out for really complex cases.
Okay.
They might provide second opinions, develop those specialized treatment protocols, or even consult with medical doctors on integrating TCM into a patient's overall care plan.
So they're not just treating patients, they're acting as consultants and advisors.
Yes.
Really shaping the field as a whole.
You've got it. And many senior-level practitioners are also actively involved in research pushing the boundaries of TCM.
Wow.
And exploring its potential in new and innovative ways.
Wow. So even after years of practice, there's still room for growth discovery and pushing the boundaries of this ancient healing art. That's really inspiring.
Absolutely. It's a lifelong journey of learning and growth. And
Yeah.
that's something that the RoleCatcher guides emphasize throughout, the
Yeah.
importance of that continuous learning
Mhm.
and professional development.
It's about embracing that curiosity, that desire to delve deeper into the mysteries of the human body
Hmm.
and the power of TCM to heal.
Precisely. And that's what makes a career in traditional Chinese medicine so incredibly rewarding.
Yeah.
It's not just a job. It's a path of personal and professional fulfillment.
This has been so illuminating. We've journeyed from those first tentative steps as an entry-level therapist
We have.
all the way to the top of the TCM world.
Right.
But before we wrap things up,
Okay.
I'm curious, what are some common misconceptions people have about TCM?
Okay.
What do you find yourself explaining to people who are new to this approach to healthcare?
There are definitely a few that come to mind.
Yeah.
One of the biggest ones, I think, is that people think it's not very scientific.
Okay.
That it's not rooted in rigorous research or evidence, and that's simply not true.
Okay.
TCM has been practiced and refined for thousands of years.
Right.
There's this incredible body of knowledge that's been passed down,
Right.
and it's becoming increasingly backed by modern scientific studies as well.
Interesting. So it's about bridging that gap between ancient wisdom and modern science.
Exactly, and that's something that I'm really passionate about, helping people understand
Yeah.
that it's not an either situation. You can embrace both.
So you're saying it's not like choosing between going to a traditional doctor versus a TCM therapist.
Right, it can be a complementary approach.
Sure.
And in fact, many TCM practitioners are eager to collaborate with doctors and other healthcare professionals,
To create that integrated approach to healthcare.
precisely because ultimately it's about what's best for the patient.
It makes sense now. Another concern I've heard is that it's just too time consuming.
I hear that one a lot.
Yeah.
And I understand it, especially in our fast-paced society.
Right.
People are busy, they want quick fixes.
Right.
But one of the things I always emphasize is that TCM is about getting to the root cause of the issue, not just putting a Band-Aid on the symptoms.
So it's about that long-term investment in your well-being.
Precisely. And yes, some treatments, like acupuncture, for instance, do require a bit of a time commitment up front,
Okay.
but the long-term benefits often far outweigh that initial investment.
So it's about shifting that perspective from a quick fix to a more holistic and sustainable approach to health.
Exactly. And that's something I always try to convey to my patients, that it's an investment not just in their physical health, but their overall well-being.
That's really beautifully said.
Yeah.
Well, for someone listening who's maybe feeling a little bit inspired,
Okay.
maybe a little bit intimidated,
Right.
but definitely intrigued by this career path, what would be your most important piece of advice?
I would say be curious.
Okay.
Don't be afraid to ask questions. Read everything you can get your hands on about TCM.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to practitioners.
Okay.
Shadow them if you can.
Okay.
And most importantly, listen
Listen
to your own intuition.
Okay.
Because ultimately, the best way to know if this path is right for you is to really immerse yourself in it and see how it resonates with your heart.
So it's about following that curiosity
Yes.
and seeing where it leads you.
Precisely.
This has been incredibly insightful. We've learned so much about traditional Chinese medicine
It's been a pleasure.
and the rewarding career path it offers.
It is a truly rewarding field.
Now, if our listeners want to learn more about TCM or perhaps connect with you,
Sure.
are there any resources or websites you recommend?
Absolutely. I would highly recommend checking out the website for the World Federation of Chinese Medicine Societies, or WFCMS, as we mentioned earlier.
WFCMS, got it.
They have a wealth of information on TCM education research and practice guidelines.
Fantastic. And for those who want to delve deeper into those career aspects, those RoleCatcher guides you mentioned sound like a great place to start.
They really are a valuable tool for anyone considering this path.
Perfect. We'll be sure to include links to all of those resources in our show notes.
Wonderful.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on this incredible deep dive into the world of TCM. It's been an absolute pleasure.
The pleasure was all mine. Thank you so much for having me.
And to our listeners, thank you for tuning in. The Deep Dive. We'll see you next time for another fascinating exploration.